Hi everybody, I'm Dorothy. I'm a professional astrologer. You can find me on the web at nhastrologer.com, and there you can read the new moon and full moon forecasts, find out where I am, connect with me if you'd like your own private session. I always recommend that. So, today, November, we're going to do the November forecast for the sign of Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is very logical, practical zodiac sign, very businesslike. You know, you're going to be really close to Sag, so you're going to have a little bit of fun energy in your chart there too. But what I want to talk about is what we have coming up here. November 4th and 5th, that moon in the sign of Aries. Now, the moon in Aries definitely does not cooperate much with Capricorn energy at all. That moon in Aries will let you know how they're feeling in a second. What it's doing in that time period is it's making a square to Mars and then a square to Pluto. That just means that Mars and the moon, when they're square, there is stress, there is tension, somebody's upset or angry about something, and they need to get it off their chest. A few hours later, it makes a square to Pluto, and that is all about, I feel like I have no control. Nothing is in charge of nothing, and so people feel like when they're out of control that they have to say something, and lots of times it's acting up. This moon in Aries is peaking because, you know, we're only a little ways away from the full moon, which is the culmination of the moon's energy. And so that moon in Aries at this point, at this stage in the zodiac, in the month, in the year, it's very, very strong. All right. Now, later in the day, and later actually in the next day on the 5th, the moon also will make a conjunction to Uranus. And when it makes a conjunction to Uranus, all bets are off. You know, we're just going to feel like we just have to rebel. If we haven't said anything yet, because that Mars and Pluto haven't really been activated yet, it's up to you. But your energy can really get very strong. All of our energies can get strong. And the emotional things that are going on around us or within us will come out. All right, so that's a bit intense on the 4th and 5th, but you know, this is just going to be a very intense full moon. Just energetically, people are just going to misbehave a little bit because they don't feel like they're being heard. And they feel like they need to take some sort of power and control back, and this is all they know how to do, is by throwing a fit. I mean, who doesn't see a little kid in the store pitching a fit because they want something and they're not getting the attention of their parents, so they start screaming and hollering and all that stuff. We all seen it. We've all been part of it, actually. I remember those days. My grandson does it nowadays. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, then let's move on. We've got full moon on November 6th. The full moon is in the sign of Taurus. And for you Capricorn, that's in your 5th house. And the 5th house is where you should be able to express yourself. It's where there is creativity. It actually does rule children as well, but it's how we have this creative self-expression. And that's what that 5th house area is about. And the full moon in Taurus, that Taurus energy that's coming to a peak, is about your values and your morals, what you care for, sensual pleasures. 5th house is also love affairs, so that could be actually rather fun if you're brave enough, Capricorn, to do something like that. I don't know if it's brave or not. I'm not condoning or whatever. Just I want to hear the emails. But that moon in Taurus is all about, you know, the sensual side of things as well, and that's what the moon, this full moon, is focusing on. That sensual side of life, and what do I value? So while we have, you know, somebody pitching a fit a couple days before this full moon and this energy building and building and building, that Taurus full moon could be actually rather pleasant and very pleasurable for you, Capricorn, because it's in the 5th house. So use it in the way that you feel it's appropriate for you, because it's highlighting that creativity part of your chart. It's highlighting that love affair part of your chart, and where we take risks of the heart. Even a financial risk like gambling, that is heightened right now too with this full moon. Keep all that in mind, all right? So next, on the 8th, Mercury enters Scorpio, re-enters Scorpio. It was there early October before it went retrograde, and now it is back. And that 0 degrees of Scorpio on November 8th is the same location of the eclipse on October 23rd. So that's highlighting that eclipse once again, and is highlighting it with the planet of communication. And in Scorpio is deep, internal, intense communication. Later on, it's going to connect with Saturn, and I'll get to that in a minute. But what does that mean for you? That means it's like whatever went on over the last couple of weeks from October 23rd until November 8th is very important for us to pay attention to. Take notes, write it down. Any ideas that came up, write them down. They're there for next time. They're there for some other time. They're there for something else. Don't let ideas and thoughts slip. Write it down. And focus and see what really shifted for you between the 23rd of October and November 8th. All you have to do is just sit down and think about it. I'm not saying that you have to take months and months to figure this out. You can just sit down or have a conversation with your shaman. Shamans are wonderful during these times of years, especially. They're always wonderful, but especially with all the Scorpio energy, that's about going as deep as you can, and there's always a shaman can always help you with that. That's something that's really helpful. The ones that you trust, the ones that you know. I always recommend it. Now, on the 11th, the 10th and the 11th of November, this is when Mars and Pluto make a connection. They're actually conjunct at this point. You know, back when on the 4th and the 5th, when the moon in Aries connected with them, they were still a little ways apart. But now on November 10th and November 11th, they're together. And when they're working together like this, Mars and Pluto both are in charge of Scorpio. They're ruler and co-ruler of Scorpio. But they're both in the sign of Capricorn. So this just means that the things that are falling away, the things that are going away in our lives, even the things that are crumbling, are meant to do that so we can truly see what our foundation is. So much has changed over these last few months and this whole year that what it comes down to really is just the skeleton of what our foundation is now. You know, we're working on getting rid of the things that just are not part of this new world, this new vibration, however you want to look at it. Everything that was old is falling out to the wayside. And Mars-Pluto conjunct in Capricorn tells us this and says this. Go with it. Don't fight it. The things that are leaving us now are not coming back, and they're meant to leave. If they come back, they'll come back in a whole different package. All right? But there isn't much that will come back if it's leaving now, because it's not meant to. It's dead. It's done. It's over. I know. On the 13th and the 14th, we get another big boost of emotional energy when that moon is in the sign of Leo. What it will do is it will make a square aspect, a square aspect to Taurus energy that we've already been talking about, and the Scorpio energy. So this is a fixed T-square. That means that, you know, somebody is going to be acting up again. It's a little different than the Aries one, the Aries moon, because the Aries moon is just like, I'm telling you how I feel, that's it, period. The Leo moon is going to be very dramatic. They tend to be a little overly dramatic sometimes, not always, not every day, but if this is a trigger, wherever you have Leo is where you are dramatic, and that's where this moon will be. So with that moon in Leo, squaring all of those things on the 14th and the 15th, there's a lot of drama going on in your life. Pay attention. All right, next, 11/22 is the new moon in Sagittarius, and for you Capricorns, that's in your 12th house. Now, when there's a new moon in the 12th house, that is all about illuminating that part of the chart. It's a part of the chart that we don't access very often on our own. A planet has to be moving through that area, typically, for us to really be able to dig in deep, because that area is where we go within. So a new moon in Sagittarius is about expanding our awareness and learning and growing and teaching and experiencing and having fun. But if it's in your 12th house, then that means that the way that you learn and experience these things is by going within or spending quiet, private time with yourself. So if this new moon is in your 12th house, that means you already own Sagittarius in there. So you already understand how to learn with metaphysical things, how to learn with spiritual things, how to learn by being by yourself or going within. So this new moon will bring another whole component into that area of your life. So you're able to take that to another step and learn something new and take whatever it is about yourself that you want to understand and go another step with that too. It can be fun too. So if you really enjoy leading meditation groups, leading chanting, going into institutions of sorts and, you know, maybe giving Reiki to people at hospitals for free, just all those types of services and caring and giving. Those are things that you can do with this new moon in Sagittarius in your 12th house. All right? Have fun with that, because that could be very rewarding for you. Very, very rewarding. And that's what you're looking for as a Capricorn. All right, next, on the 25th of November, Mercury and Saturn are in a conjunction. They're in the sign of Scorpio. So this is that opportunity I was mentioning earlier with the eclipse and things, that it wants us to communicate, write down and communicate what is important for us. What do we want to learn about? What have we learned over the last few weeks? You know, Saturn in Scorpio is breaking down things, so we're able to see what the true foundation of life is. So take a record, sit down and write out what it is that is staying in your life, what's going away, how you feel about it. Just do a lot of journaling on that day. It'd be really helpful for yourself. Finally, I want to leave you with November 27th. That's Thanksgiving here in the United States. It's a holiday. We've got the moon in Aquarius. That moon in Aquarius. Well, we got the moon in Aquarius. That's people who, in our family, who'll show up. That's the quirky ones. Or the ones who hold a grudge. Sometimes, not all, but some. So with the moon in Aquarius, this could show us that, somebody who is part of our family, they'll come. They're going to bring up something that's 20 years old that they've never let go of. Yeah, we don't want that. How about you use the energy this way? Find something unique and different to do for your Thanksgiving celebration, or for whatever you want to celebrate if it's not Thanksgiving for you. Do something different. Honor those who aren't with us anymore, and figure out what you could do that would be a new tradition or something that's very unique and different for the young people in the family. Start something new. Go have an adventure. Have your meal, then go do something that is just very different and unique, not shopping. Have a blast with that. That is what we get to do with this energy on Thanksgiving Day. So opportunities to communicate well, if we choose to. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for watching. Please share. Join me on Facebook, Dorothy Morgan Astrologer, and find me on the web, nhastrologer.com. Thank you very much. Blessed be. Yes, and namaste. Namaste.